Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you are enjoying your day. Not because your crypto is pumping a lot. Matter of fact, I'd say more so because cryptos are not in a very good spot. Finally, we've got a little correction on the altcoins yet again, and I'm telling you this. What we have just seen with Bitcoin, what we have just seen with altcoins has convinced me more than ever that I do not want to miss the boat. Let me tell you guys, I look at crypto every single day. And as you know, my philosophy, my personal one, is to always minimize regret. If I don't buy these dips, I'll regret that for the rest of my life. And I'm prepared to lose crazy sums of money in the process of making a whole lot. But I just can't get it over my heart to have so much in stables or in different assets laying around on the sidelines doing nothing. I'm not a man of safety. I like going big or going home. Now, a little bit later, I'm gonna give you guys a video about which coins I'd buy if I wanted to start out with $1,000. But I gotta probably make two videos because on the one end I'm thinking, if a good friend of mine were to ask this, I'd probably tell him a couple of safe coins to go for, so I'd assume he's going to 10x his money over the next year or two. Again, nothing certain, but that's my expectation. But I'm also thinking perhaps a couple of you guys are on the line of go big or go home. We put $1,000 in. It's either gonna be 50,000 basically or 10,000 or it's nothing. And some people are comfortable with that. But right now in this video, I want you guys first of all to press that like button. We're gonna be going over some of the crypto news that's going around. Because whenever crypto prices go up so hard, all the news gets pushed away. We're just thinking about how to make more gains. But in the back end, a lot of interesting things are happening. So if you guys still wanna see the news, not only altcoin updates, make sure you press that like button. Otherwise, more altcoin updates, it is a little bit later today.
SEC has won every capital raising case, including the Ripple case. Right? The judge, I believe, found that the issuance, in the initial issuance, was in fact a securities transaction during the capital raising phase. Mm-hmm. The question in the Ripple case that I believe the SEC did not win was on the secondary trading, was that a securities transaction or not? There are other cases with similar facts where the SEC has won that. We will see how that plays out. But that goes to my point about secondary trading and Tim's point about secondary trading and the need to establish rules of the road, whether it's a security or a commodity, but that people are trading with the expectation of a financial return. And to go back to Dave's question, I think the SEC's record on cases decided is what, 95 and one's up on appeal. I'd say that's pretty good.
The most interesting part here being that this is the former chairman of the SEC, Jay Clayton. He's the one who initiated the lawsuit against Ripple. And it's interesting how they are looking right now at all the, everything went black for a second. Anyway, like I was saying, I turned up the brightness again, guys, don't worry. It's interesting to me how the SEC claims they're doing so much good, claims their track record is so clean. When in the reality of things, if you look at how much the US investors have gained from all this, I'd say it's pretty negative. And then to put this whole Ripple debacle as a partial loss, which is still actually being appealed, I don't think is also the right way to word things, but hey, that's politicians. Something else that hit my eyes over the past couple of hours though was this, a prediction. Bitcoin will hit $1 trillion in 2024. And when I first looked at this, I just started giggling, laughing because that's a crazy statement. But then I noticed, okay, they're actually talking about Bitcoin's market cap, which in theory is basically already there. It's like 20% away. And so all they're basically saying is that Bitcoin over the next year will go back to $50,000, which I don't think anybody would be really surprised by, especially now that all these massive institutional investors along the lines of BlackRock, Fidelity, ARK, Invesco, WisdomTree are all coming in hot. Matter of fact, I personally believe $2 trillion can actually happen for Bitcoin over the next year. Matter of fact, I think potentially we can end the year potentially end of the year of 2025 at $3 trillion per Bitcoin. And I still personally believe that we're going to also see the first time of an altcoin hitting $1 trillion. I think this run is going to be the first time. And I already put up a prediction earlier that I don't think there'll be any single coin in the top 100 under 1.something trillion. Right now, the lowest is 550 million. Did I say a trillion? I meant a billion. But I'm giving it some time. BitTorrent, by the way, is just absolutely blasting. 10% over the hour, 50% up today. Just absolutely zooting. But for the most part, they have not really posted anything too interesting in a good while, which makes me kind of think this is just some just-in-sun orchestrated pump. And obviously, this is nice for BitTorrent holders, don't get me wrong. But again, if they're not posting anything too interesting recently, except for Tron hitting some sort of milestones, but Tron themselves actually being down over the day, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because they're all basically in the same ecosystem. Same thing for Just. I think the other one is Sun. Is it this one? I don't even remember which other coin Justin Sun has. This one, matter of fact, is actually doing well, but I'm not sure if this is the same ecosystem. Okay, but that one is actually doing pretty well. Anyway, if you're still not 100% sure why we're actually so excited about crypto for the longer term, I want you guys to take a look at this. And before you do, if you've not pressed that like button yet, you might want to do that. And later today, I'll be getting you guys a couple other additional cool videos. JP Chase faces backlash. Account closure sparks viral outrage. JP Chase, already facing discrimination allegations, is spotlighted as the account closure adds fuel to customer dissatisfaction. One of the main principles behind crypto is that you are in control over your own money. Meaning whatever the bank wants to do, it doesn't really matter to you. And this is just one of the absolutely crazy amount of stories where a person had an account, didn't do anything too crazy, and boom, it's just shut down. Matter of fact, I've got friends as well that I know for a fact didn't do anything illegal or too crazy, but just didn't fully fit within the bank's policy, which is very arbitrary, by the way. It's just a matter of if they don't like you or there's something, they'll find a way. You can do anything according to the book, but if they don't like you, they've got so many different policies that even a very normal human being doesn't fully comply by potentially. If they want to get you out, they'll kick you out. If they want to freeze your money, they'll freeze your money. If they do not want you to withdraw, if they do not want you to transfer, they will not let you transfer. And I'm going to tell you right now, crypto exchanges are pretty much similar to a certain extent, but the idea of cryptocurrencies is to be able to escape all that. You always have control over your own money. And a lot of battle over the top spots, or over which crypto, which currency has the most utility inside of it, because, well, instead of just being a Bitcoin where the main purpose is just sending things around, right now it's changing though because of stacks, ordinals, etc. These other ones are more like platformers now, where instead of just being a currency, they can also be a currency with an entire ecosystem on it, around it, and behind it, which is really magnificent if you think about it. Fully decentralized in the sense that anybody can do anything following the rules that are objective, basically, but anybody knows the rules and you cannot really beat around the bush. There's no higher power in that sense. And again, the battle, for example, between Ethereum and Solana, even though Solana's co-founder says, they're not here to beat Ethereum, it's just which one would you rather have your money on, for example? Which one would you rather use for some certain transfers? Which one would you rather use for NFTs or DeFi, etc.? And those are all solid points. Matter of fact, most cryptos in this list have their own unique selling point. You know, we could take a look at Monero and think, well, yeah, if you want a currency that's got more privacy features, it's probably better to go for that. If you want a currency that's very in-depth in the supply chain ecosystem, VeChain might be interesting for that. Or you've got DeFi coins, you got BRC-related coins, you've got AI and graphics card-related cryptos. Because at the end of the day, they're not just a currency just for sending money or for decentralized finance. Some have got a currency for very specific purposes, or to make their own platform function properly with very specific permissions that potentially only relate to that platform. To again, make sure that anybody can have control over as much as possible. It's funny. Little side note, I've been buying more different meme coins quite recently. I've just been stacking up some, and I've been buying a lot of those launchpad tokens like I've been telling you guys about. Those Meme coins are just for fun, and I think anybody with a very low in the net worth scale that just wants to grow the portfolio like crazy with a high risk, it's definitely a good thing to consider. It's very high risk though. It will probably fail, but it's very much worth it in a really bullish market. Those launchpad coins, I think, will very much succeed. I don't think there's really too much of a question there. I think January is going to be a very big month for coins like Paid, but as you can see right here, it's a battle, all right? These coins are very volatile, and they'll stay volatile even way further throughout. But they're very easy to trade as, the market either goes bullish or comes down a little bit, right? And you can see there's a little bit of a dip in market cap. Also throughout the last day, you can see it's been a slight decline, and the volume, you can't see, here we go. Volume is at a pretty significant decline here over the past day, and actually over the last couple of days. And CMC's greed index actually pointed out things were very high in terms of greed. And of course, the higher you get, the more into overbought territory you get before you get a nice little correction. And now there's two more things I want to quickly say. One is that I'm warning you. One of the things that could actually give crypto a very big hit, obviously, to me, it's more just dip buying potential, but hey, I'm still warning you regardless, is any new charges against either Binance or the rest of the crypto market. We're not afraid of Binance falling because the moment that Binance took the plea deal, crypto market didn't really do anything. If the market dropped hard, it meant that the big guys were really scared, but they weren't. So they probably know Binance's balance sheets pretty well, and they know all is good. More charges ain't really gonna do anything else, even to other exchanges. What's it gonna do, right? And second of all, if we actually take a look at the total value locked on Cardano, interestingly enough, it's just absolutely skyrocketing recently here. It's, to me, pretty spectacular just how crazy the performance is of Cardano just over the last month or so, but specifically the last couple of days here. You can see just from the end of October up till now, the TVL, which is the total value locked, has more than doubled. This basically shows how popular DeFi is on Cardano, for example. Volume obviously also absolutely spiking, but that's mostly because you see a massive increase in price. So, if we put the price in there too, it starts to make a little bit more sense because the price, TVL, volume all go up in a pretty similar manner. But here is that I put the ADA amount, which is again for the blue line, the amount of ADA, not only what it's worth. You can still see it's growing massively recently. Take a look at those numbers, right? It's just absolutely massive. Because before, people used to always make jokes about how Cardano is a pretty dead chain. But in comparison to all the other big boys, the only one that comes kind of close over the last week at least is Solana. Over the month though, Solana is by far the best, being up 166% here. Just absolutely massive, absolutely crazy performance. But still, it's kind of wacky still if you think about it. If you think about how great it used to be back in the 2021 bull run. And there's two more things I'll say. One is we're really early into the crypto bull run, and that is from this perspective, the TVL is nowhere near what it was before. And by the way, I'll give another video as well on airdrops because things like 𝗬𝗀 did so amazing. Margin File told you all the VCs want to get into it massively, but there's not going to be a airdrop soon because I think the next round, this is for institutional investors, is I think Q1, somewhere a couple months into Q1. So I think maybe February or so of Q1, meaning they're not going to do a fundraising for token if they already did an airdrop. That wouldn't make sense. But the cutoff date could be any time, but I'll give you guys more of a tutorial on that later. I'm preparing it, but it takes a lot of work. Maybe we should hire another researcher that just does this type of stuff. Write down, for example, exactly how to get the best chances of getting the airdrops, and I could just easily make a video about it instead of spending so much time structuring the video properly. But I'm just talking about this perspective here. If you take a look at the interest over time, you see here that it actually peaked a pretty significant bit before we saw a new all-time high around this area. This was by typing in how to buy crypto. Similarly, what is Bitcoin? You can see we're starting to go up ever so slightly, but we're nowhere close to where it was a while back. But we're picking up. We are picking up ever so slightly. How to buy Doge is not up as much. The only one that's quite interesting is crypto bull run. And matter of fact, these numbers should be significantly higher over time than previous runs, which means right now it's still relatively low. Because if you think about it, every single cycle, you get a higher base amount of crypto users that all talk about the bull run, because every new bull run you get, the more logical it is for another bull run to show up the next time by I wanted to say the power of repetition, but I don't think that's, I should say the power of cycles. Anyway, so it would be very logical if this baseline would get higher over time every single time. And you can see the projection that they've gone for. I expect as well over the next few months that this peak right here back in 2021 is going to basically be a value of, let's say, 50. Because back in 2017, 2018, it's interesting that potentially there's no data around this. Doesn't really make sense for the number to be that low. This one, I guess, is more accurate. Potentially, we didn't use the crypto bull run term as much as now. But I just personally think that over the next couple of months, a lot of these numbers will become very, very much lowered because the baseline is going to significantly increase. Or I should say has significantly increased. But whatever, right now, in a lot of terms, we're still very low. Just wanted to quickly bring that to y'all's attention. And hopefully, I'll see you guys again in another crypto video somewhere later today. Because we got a lot of cool things coming up. You know I'm rooting for you, and that's about it.